When I was younger, there were movies that really inspired me, made me want to write and to make films of my own, to tell stories to people. And granted, okay, there are others, like the Star Wars movies, for example, that really inspired me, and you can see a lot of that in my webcomic, The Adventures of Kennira Baxter. But sitting behind Kennira Baxter, a kind of inspiration that may not be quite as much on the forefront, are other movies usually about kids who have rollicking adventures because something unusual happens to them. I'm talking about movies like E.T. or, say, Flight of the Navigator or The Goonies, and especially Explorers. Oh, I love this movie so much. If you haven't seen this movie, you need to bloody see it. Just saying. Explorers. This is Ethan Hawke's first movie. It's got River Phoenix in it, directed by Joe Dante, amazing director. Totally worth watching. The problem is, in the last, call it 20, 25 years or so, they just haven't made movies like this. The movies they've made that are aimed at kids cannot be taken as seriously as these movies. They're all people getting hit in the head, and like wacky catchphrases and stuff, and the dumb fat guy who's always falling over, that kind of thing. It's wacky, slapsticky shit. It's not like it doesn't have the verisimilitude. They're not set in the real world plus fantastic elements. It's more a matter of let's just make these kids think, oh look, we're watching people get hit, ha ha. It just, those movies, they don't make them like that anymore, except that they kind of just did. Because I just watched Super 8, and Super 8 really felt like a throwback to that style of filmmaking. I mean, yeah, okay, it's kind of a predictable movie, and yeah, at times I felt it was paced badly, where I was like, come on, get on with it, But at the same time, I felt that Super 8 really did capture that feeling, and I know that was a goal. I mean, Spielberg was involved. J.J. Abrams said he was trying to do something along these lines, along sort of like E.T. lines, And this movie did kind of come off like Cloverfield meets E.T. with more than a little bit of the Goonies mixed in. And honestly, in the end, I think that years from now we'll look back on Super 8 and go, yeah, that was pretty good, but it's a very unremarkable movie. I mean, it's not going to stick with you as much as some of these other flicks, but it still had that same feel. It captured that thing that's been missing from movies for me for a very long time, that sort of sense of wonder and adventure that you just don't see it anymore. And so for that reason, I highly recommend Super 8. If nothing else, I think that if you liked these kinds of movies, the ones that inspired me back in the day, then you need to see Super 8. You'll love it for that. And if you're too young to remember these kinds of movies, well, this will be something new for you. This will be something different. This will be something you haven't seen before, unless you've got nostalgic parents who made you watch DVDs like the ones I just flashed up on the screen. So, I highly recommend Super 8. Now, I know a lot of people have had issues with the ending of this movie, but I say, without spoiling it, I say that it makes sense within the context of the movie. And it works. It really does. I mean, okay, I can understand why some people don't like it, but those are probably people who wouldn't like it anyway, who probably wouldn't like these 4 movies because I don't know, maybe they're jaded, or maybe they wanted something darker, because this movie is kind of lighthearted. I mean, okay, yeah, a lot of bad shit happens, but it never gets into that, oh, woe is me, hand staple forehead kind of thing, it doesn't get into that, and I love that about it, I mean, this is a movie that it maintains that feeling, that mood that I think has been lost for years. I mean, in many ways, it almost makes me want to try and get back into fictional filmmaking. I mean, I've confined my fictional writing to my webcomic lately. But this movie kind of makes me want to try and gather a bunch of friends together and make a movie. I've got the camera. I could totally do it. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I hope you can be as inspired by this movie as I was. I guess that's all I'm trying to say. I mean, let's see. If I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm thinking maybe an 8, 8.5. You know, worth watching. Please take the time to rate this video. And hey, if you dig what I do, subscribe. You might also enjoy my webcomic, The Adventures of Kinneara Baxter. You'll find a link in the info bar, along with a link to my Zazzle store. Buy a t-shirt today. Now rate this video, citizen, or we put you on the probulator.